back.
Welcome back, everybody.
This is episode 4 of pdExes,
Yep.
the podcast where we talk about your dating stories, or, basically at this point, whatever.
Just being a big whore.
Yeah, I'm here for that.
Yeah.
It feels on brand.
I mean that in the most nicest way.
That's flattering. I'm flattered.
I was talking about myself.
So today has just turned into TikTok filming because we
yeah,
can't make it
just
longer than
can't.
fucking 30 seconds.
We can't. Oh my God. So we're going to keep this in. We're
We're just going to keep going. We're going to power through.
It's tough. We've done, 3 episodes already.
Yes.
And a lot of people really enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
And then there comes the expectation of, having to kind of keep it going.
Mm-hmm.
Not that we're doing anything crazy. We're just, here talking about,
There's a potential the first 3 episodes could have just been like a crazy
like
fluke.
a fluke, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And we're just boring
No.
pieces of garbage.
No way. Well,
Sexy
we're not
garbage.
boring. We're definitely not boring.
Yeah. But yeah, everything's been going great. We're super appreciative of anyone that wants to tune in and share your time with us.
And as of today we are on Apple Podcasts.
Yes.
And we are on Spotify.
Yes.
It is really, really crazy to basically type in the name pdExes and it pops up.
Yep.
And it feels really cool. And we are just taking it day by day.
Yep.
And it's been really great. I've really been loving it. It's been really fun to look forward to. And I appreciate those little conversations, It is definitely a trip doing my normal Clark Kent job and having people come to me and, let me know that they were listening with their family or that, they're going to listen when they're off work. And I'm getting pictures of people sending me watching. And it just feels like a really cool moment.
Yeah.
So thanks for letting us be part of your day.
Yep.
That's
Keep it coming.
really special.
And I think, people's time, I think, is probably the most valuable currency.
Right, absolutely.
So I appreciate anybody that wants to tune in and listen to me get photographed while they just took a shot of Jägermeister in their hotel room. And then you continue to listen to the second episode where I told you a story about getting chlamydia. Mm-hmm. So this is great. Thank you for, spending the time with us. You get to come with us on our journey.
Yeah, we're learning.
I think the thing with our podcast and our journey is I literally have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. I just watch YouTube videos and much appreciated the people. I'll have to shout people out eventually, but I started doing, I do music, art. I wanted to stream on Twitch. I wanted to start doing all this other stuff. And I just was I bugged my people at work, my friends at work, watched a lot of YouTube videos, and a lot of it is just trial and error. So,
it's just trying.
Yeah. And I don't think we're ever trying to be I want to have the best podcast on the planet or it has to look great. I just want it to look cute. And
we didn't even think the video was going to be anything.
Yeah.
Moment of vulnerability, I almost broke my foot.
Oh, yeah.
2 days before we filmed.
It was the day before. Yeah.
And we went to the emergency room on Easter.
Yep.
That was lovely.
Yep.
I am great with holidays. I love to just make them all about me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yep. Hypochondriac, but kind of for real. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the first several episodes might not have even happened because she rolled her ankle.
Right. And I couldn't. And I remember I called you in my room and I couldn't walk on my foot and I was hobbling around and I looked and I called you and I was like, do I have to put makeup on?
I was like, yeah.
Yeah. You were he, in a very nice way, a very nice brotherly way. He was like, I think you should put some fucking makeup on so we can film.
Right.
So we can get this content. And the video series is great. So we're going to continue with all of this. We love all the feedback.
Yeah. And also, please send in questions, send in your shitty dating stories, send in anything. So a couple just housekeeping things. We finally got an email. Well, we had one, but
it would be helpful if we said it on the podcast that we're actually, yes.
pdExes podcast at gmail.com.
pdExes podcast at gmail.com.
Yep.
So we'll take, we want your shitty dating stories. We'll take anything. I mean, last time when I personally rewatched the episode 6 or 7 times myself, I'm very interested in hearing old school parents sex education.
Yes.
I think that is some choice prime time.
They used to think taking a Coca-Cola bottle and shaking it up in the pussy got rid of syphilis or
We're not putting
whatever.
this in here.
Yeah, no, that was a thing.
There's no way.
Why?
Well, in an episode of My Favorite Murder, they talk about how this, you're not supposed to use Coke bottles as a dildo because it creates a vacuum suction and they have to drill a hole in the bottom to get it out of you.
Note that I never thought about that.
Yes, there's a vacuum suction. Just to kind of continue on, sexual education, there's the period cup, right? It's a cup that actually goes up and you got to fold it. You got to fold it.
Like an origami.
Yes. And it goes up and opens and catches everything, but it works by suction. So some of them have a pull at the bottom that breaks the seal.
Oh, I see.
But if you're like me and you have a manicure, I'm not digging for treasure.
Dang. That makes sense. Is that the moon cup or something like that? I remember hearing something about that.
Any of the period cups, that's that. It's a silicone cup. It's better for the environment. You're washing it. You're sanitizing it. Obviously not in a public bathroom.
I don't know what I thought that was. I thought it was like a little cup that you just like rested up against.
I'll never forget.
Genitals.
I was probably in middle school. I remember when I had my first conversation with you about like period stuff and all of that. And you asked me what tampons were and you asked me how they worked. And you thought they were just a plug.
Oh yeah. Kind of.
Is it like a wine cork? And then once you can go to the bathroom, you uncork.
Yes, I did think that.
Yes.
Yeah,
and I was no, it's a sponge. It is absorbent.
Yes. I have learned a lot about the
welcome.
cycle and all that stuff. Well, and I think the nice thing is education is important. And I think it seemed scary, or it seems scary. I mean, vaginas are just scary to me anyway, because I'm gay. But like, all that stuff just seems really scary to men. And I think that because people don't get educated, they don't ask the questions. They don't, hey, babe that I'm marrying, what do you stick up your vagina when it's that time of the month?
Can I play with your butthole? There are questions that need to be asked before you get to that point.
It just feels like everyone is so scared to talk about this stuff. And it's really not, because it happens all the time.
If you're talking about vaginas being scary, at least all of my reproductive organs are inside me. I don't know how you're walking around with a pool noodle all the time just hanging out. It's just, as a girl, honestly, there's a meme of a baby elephant swinging its trunk, right?
Yeah.
That's what every girl imagines being a boy is like. Yes. It's like a helicopter.
Probably, yeah.
It's like a helicopter, right?
Every man is a baby elephant.
If we had a Freaky Friday moment and we swapped, and they have posed this question to girls, what would be the first thing you do? And girls go, oh, helicopter. And they're like, what are you talking about? And it would be where, you're a baby elephant trunk and you're getting to use it.
I feel like, well, as a gay man, I could only imagine if a dude had boobs,
Hand
not
warmers,
like man boobs,
immediate
but like
hand warmers all the time.
Just immediately had boobs.
Amazing cleavage.
Men would just never leave their house. They'd be like, yeah, so none of the men have come out since the genital swap.
Yeah, but what if on the other way, what if suddenly men were just offended? You're staring at their cleavage, right?
That's true.
Their backs are aching because their titties are pulling on their back, right? You think about it the shoes on the other foot now. How you like them titties?
The titties on the
you
other
take your
person
bra off,
now.
your boobies point towards the floor. Like there's some negatives. I think that we might be onto something here. We might be onto something here.
Yeah. Maybe like in school, do you know how they like would give everybody a child? Maybe
the egg with the pencil scratch
but they
on
also
the bottom.
but also they give you like a fake baby. Maybe they should have like titties that they give men. They should have. Well, also this is in school.
I was going to say it is called a real doll, Ryan. It is called a real doll. Okay.
Man, yeah, I don't know. I think I would be sad if I didn't have the genitals.
You wouldn't know what it was like.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? The one thing I am envious of is you can really pee wherever you want. A girl, it's very complicated. It's not easy to just go. I would rather not go than go someplace uncomfortable, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I think it's tough for a woman.
A guy can just go in traffic. I would literally have to pee my pants.
Oh, man. I was at Coachella and I had to pee in a bottle 2 times because I had to pee so bad. Okay, so we're getting ready to watch The Weeknd, and I have arthritis, so I was in the
And when he
handicap.
says we, let's preface. When he says we, this was not me.
This was not Alexa.
I do not have Coachella bucks.
She did not have the Coachella money. Maybe next year. Greg, my husband, and I went to Coachella. I've gone about 5 times. I love it. It's so much fun. Greg's first time, and he had a great time, so super happy. So we're at The Weeknd. The Weeknd's playing at the very end, Sunday night. And we get to be in the
Was
ADA.
he the headliner? Like, was The Weeknd,
Sunday,
was the one?
He took over, I think, Kanye West's spot. So the Swedish House Mafia and The Weeknd, they took over Kanye's spot. And it was so good. I'm such a big fan of both. And
Did Swedish House Mafia play the song?
They played all the hits.
Okay.
And I don't even remember. Like, if you would have asked me right before and been like, what was their jams? I could not tell you. I mean, I was such a fan. I couldn't tell
you the name of the song, but I could tell you the riffs.
I love them so much, and The Weeknd. And but I was like, man, I can't remember. Because it's been 6 years or so, 5-6 years since they took a break or retired. And then when all the songs came out, I was like, yes, bitch. Like, I remember
your moment.
all the songs. But they played first. They played for an hour, and then The Weeknd was coming on. And by that time, there is no going to the bathroom.
Right.
It is so packed. And so we're in the ADA section, and it's like a raised platform, and we're in the back right corner. And I just turned to Greg, and I was like, I have to pee in a bottle right now. I'm going to explode. And we had already been there for probably like a half an hour, 40 minutes before we got to the thing, and then we're there.
So it's you're breaching.
Yeah. And they also give you free waters in the ADA section, which was great, which I did not know before. They give free water to
at festivals.
People
you should get free water regardless.
They should. Everyone should have free water. It's a natural resource.
Free water, and let me keep the fucking cap to my water bottle.
Yeah,
please.
Yeah. But
my water bottle is $14. I'm not going to throw it at anyone. Yeah. This bottle is mine. I would like to keep it. I paid for the cap.
Well, yeah, I did get to keep the water, the cap to mine. Yeah, this is probably the indoor concerts.
Depends on where you're at.
But yeah, so I'm in the back, and then everyone is paying attention to Swedish House Mafia. So I'm like, okay, great. And I just put a bottle in my pants, and then I just peed in the bottle, and then I screwed the cap on, and then I felt so much better. I was like, oh my God. I was going to die. I had to pee so bad. And Greg and I were walking around for a while trying to find the place. And we ended up getting extra waters. We were already, we were like, how many waters did we have? And I was like, I think we had 7 waters. We drank so many waters. Didn't even think about it. And then I peed. And then 10 minutes later, my body's like, okay, we have more pee. And I was like, I gotta hold it. And then I just ended up having to do it a second time. And luckily everyone was paying attention to The Weeknd. So I was able to get away with it. But
everyone is paying attention to the concert they paid all the money to be there
definitely
for.
Definitely not my proudest moment. But
but the alternative, you could have peed your pants.
Could have peed my pants.
That would have ruined the whole night.
And the problem is okay, let's say I waited, then getting back out to where there's a bathroom and walking, it could just be and
then you get lost.
Yeah.
That's not fun.
So I just, I peed in a bottle. That was fun.
So we talked about in the second episode about I want to hear your parents' crazy sex ed stories.
Yes.
Please.
Yes.
Please. I would love to know that. But also what Ryan was saying, we've had a couple people reach out and we just would really love to share resources.
Yep.
If there's anything that you think of value that we can use, if this is, a platform, we do want to make this accessible and we want to make this easily digestible. And we really want to put out good information that values you, that you can actually have something you can take away from this podcast aside from hopefully peeing your pants from laughing. We would hope.
We're going to hopefully put resources in, just we talked about prep last time, Truvada. And I've been taking this for 4 years. I've been taking it for a long time. To me, it doesn't feel like I'm doing anything crazy. It's just something that I decided to do. I was one of the earlier people to get it. It took a while, I think, for a gay community to kind of pick up on it. There was a lot of stigma. And we talked about this last time, but just with, trusting people and, so.
But there's been a lot of, I don't even know how you want to, I don't even know how you want to say it. There's a lot of, infringement on women's rights that are being spoken about right now. And it's hard because I was someone who actually was able to, benefit from this service and benefit from, a termination. And I think that it is so important to own your truth.
Right.
And I think that, if the shoe was on the other foot, right, and you have these people out there who want to take this right away from me, right? They want to take this life-changing decision away from me. And I don't think there's anything I can do other than put you in that situation where you're walking into a clinic and you have people holding signs talking about how you're killing a baby, and you have people yelling and screaming at you outside of an abortion clinic and you can hear them yelling through the door. And it's a very uncomfy situation. Do you think I want to be here?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, and I think that's the thing that I never quite understand. It's like the decision isn't something you're just like, yeah, sure, just not like, it's a crazy decision.
It was something that was incredibly thought about. There's a big process of how you go through it. It's not just something you just don't go in and you get a punch card and they punch card you and it's like a car wash and you walk out on the other side with no baby. That's not how it works. I won't say baby without cells. You do not have clumps of cells in your uterus. And I think the thing for me is a lot of people are putting judgment on something that you don't really know. If you've been through that process and it was a terrible process for you and you don't, it was just so immoral or whatever, don't take that away from me. Because that's a decision that I need. That is a decision that, it's not just careless people having sex, getting pregnant and terminating it. It's not, abortions are not a substitute for a condom.
Yeah.
There are medical reasons why this needs to happen. The thing that broke my heart the most was this girl in Texas had posted about how she had to carry her baby full term and the baby was already dead.
Oh man.
Or some kind of complication where the baby was not born and she had to carry her baby an extra 6 weeks. And, I don't want to make that decision for you and I don't want you to make that decision for me.
Yeah. I don't know. I was talking the last couple weeks about, periods and all this stuff that like women have to go through. Like, I just don't think people should be making these decisions for women.
Well, if you want to, not to play politics, but we're going to argue a mask mandate.
Yeah.
But then you're going to tell me that I can't have an abortion if my baby isn't going to be healthy or, X, Y, Z on a multitude of a list of things.
Well, and we also like everybody cares so much about the baby until it's born. And then we literally don't give a shit.
Right. Of course.
We like, there's homeless people on the streets. We don't care about them. What's the difference? Somebody who's living on the street right now, all these people literally drive by them on the way to the clinic to go yell at some lady. You know what I mean? What about that pro-life? Like, what about anybody?
I think that's the biggest argument right now.
What about anything? Like, I think it's just so focused on, you're killing babies or you're doing this and this. And it's like, but why do you selectively care about this one thing?
Right.
And literally don't give a fuck. I mean, a baby's born and the mom doesn't have any money. I don't see you rushing over there trying to help.
There are people from all different socioeconomic statuses that are having abortions. It is not just, a careless thing that is happening. It is a decision that these couples have to come to and agree and make sure that it's something that happens organic and something that's going to be, something that benefits you. So,
well, and I would hope it, if somehow somebody is listening to this and you're deciding to go down and picket, bitch, your house better be full of foster kids. You better be helping out as many people as you can in those cases. Because if all you're doing is going down there and causing a ruckus,
you're just yelling at people.
Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you.
Because you don't know.
Right.
You don't know the medical history. You don't know none of that. I mean, you're down at Costco yelling mask mandate this and I got a card this and now you're all caring about people's medical history, the decisions they have to make with their doctors. People need to like mind your business and
just greet people with kindness. Like, I don't understand.
Seek to understand.
Yes.
Why don't you sit down and have a conversation with somebody? Why don't you understand the decision that is being made? I
think that's called empathy and compassion.
Well, and I think people get angry, rightfully so. I think what they're taught is, maybe people are murdering babies or whatever they think. But, when you break it down, we shouldn't be making blanket laws.
Right.
Everything should be case by case. People should have the right to choose,
or, let's get more women Let's get more women's insight, right? Isn't it like a bunch of dudes and the one chick, two chick, like
right? Yeah, we need to have only women should be voting on this. You know, I mean, women don't make laws for men's bodies. You know, I mean, if it was such a big deal, why doesn't every man have a vasectomy? You know, why men are just out running around fucking all day. And there's no blame to men. It's always it's the poor woman.
Well, but the thing is, probably some of the most powerful things I've seen over the last couple of weeks about all of this has been, you know, men benefit from abortions just as much as women, right? And I think the thing that's so crazy about all of it is, you know, kind of like what we did with the podcast, right? You have to take action, right? You can't just sit and wish something to be better. You have to take action, right? So we need to make sure we're supporting Planned Parenthood. We need to make sure that we're, you know, that's why we want to be able to post these resources to be able to provide access. You know, if you're out there and you're listening and you feel alone, like we want to be there to help you and support you and know that, you know, you have a community of people that you can rely on. Right. You know, I think that's so important.
Well, and I think it also comes down to voting in your local elections, your state stuff. It's not, we're so focused on like president stuff, and we don't get to get super political here, but we're always so focused on president only. And there's so much that happens locally and in your state. And that kind of, I guess, trickles up to, you know, all these other things and laws, the people we put in office for our state and our local communities, that all matters. Right. You know, and I think sometimes we forget about that. Right. It's just the president every 4 years. He makes all the decisions. At the end of the day, all this, you know, Republicans, Democrats, all those people sitting in the, you know, Washington, D.C., those are the people that are ultimately responsible. You know, they decide on who gets into the Supreme Court. And, you know, so I think we need to start focusing on those things.
Tangible, you know, things that we can do, you know, that we have control over, that we can make a difference, I think is so important. It's like we said, I think the ongoing theme of this podcast is going to be, it is cool to give a shit. It is very, very cool to give a shit.
And get your own goddamn podcast.
Get your own goddamn podcast. Don't ask me how we're doing this. He told you we got shit on Amazon. He got it on Amazon. We showed up. We're funny. Thanks for tuning in.
Also to like, you know, thank you again. If you're still following through, I know it's getting a little deep, but you know, thank you for providing resources to us, the feedback, anything you feel we can share. You know, I want to be a sounding board or be able to, you know, again, it's just my story of me taking PrEP, but maybe as a young gay man, you might be like, oh man, I've heard about it. How do I get it? What do I do?
Sparking curiosity.
Find a doctor that is willing to help you. That's one of the things that I found as a gay man, but also I have really aggressive arthritis.
I was going to say, you've been going to doctors. You've been going to like doctor's appointments as long as I could remember. Like traveling to, I remember you used to travel to a doctor and you guys would stay the night.
Sometimes.
For the whole,
so I got arthritis when I was in first grade. I have what's called ankylosing spondylitis. It is kind of like rheumatoid arthritis, which most people have heard about rheumatoid arthritis. So it's very similar, I guess. But it basically affects my spine, my joints, and
you're basically in pain all the time.
Chronic pain. It's great. So I've been going to doctors all the time. And I think as a young person with arthritis, there's also, again, a lot of pain management. And I'm always kind of was treated like some punk kid that's just trying to like get pain meds or whatever. And I have had some bad doctors. I mean, my ankle used to be swollen like crazy.
Oh, I remember that.
It used to be like
you couldn't even tie your shoe.
My shoe was, I'd have to get like ultra wide shoes because that's how bad my foot would be swollen up. So I went to this doctor and I was like, can you just give me anything? And this one doctor was like, I'm not going to give you meds because then you're just going to sit around and be lazy. And I was just like, what?
Where does it say that in your medical textbook?
Yeah, for real.
Doctor.
And I mean, I haven't gone to the gym a lot just because of COVID and everything, but like I would go to the gym when I could, like 5-6 days a week. I used to swim in high school. I love swimming. I love lifting weights. I was doing powerlifting stuff for a while. And like, I love going to the gym. And I was like, dude, I need you to give me something to manage this, the swelling, the pain. And he wouldn't give me anything because he thought I would just be lazy. And I just was stunned. I could not believe it.
I mean, when I was dealing with my tonsil issues, my throat, in our family, we have a history of huge tonsils, and they are so uncomfortable. They're actually called kissing tonsils because they will touch in the back of your throat, right? And I remember my throat closed. It was like the second or third time it happened.
Yeah, you used to get strep all the time too.
And I remember going to the emergency room, and I remember the doctor told me they weren't going to give me pain medicine, and I threw a fit. And then I think he wrote me a script for like 3 of them, just to like get me out of there. Right. But I'm like, it's frustrating because they can see your charts, right? They can see your charts. I'm here because this is, I'm not some punk kid. So again, making sure you find a doctor that you really vibe with, that really cares for you.
Well, especially like, again, as a gay man, finding a doctor that I felt comfortable talking about STI testing, HIV testing, all those regular checkups. Also, when you take Truvada, you need to have a doctor that can do your blood work. And I don't know if I think there's a urine test for that one, but you need to get labs done so they can make sure your organs are working correctly. Right. You're not having any side effects.
Checks and balances.
And so, for me, it's just finding somebody that you can have those conversations with, because for the longest time, I didn't have that. And I don't know how I got super lucky, but my doctor right now is amazing. And I'm just like super, super glad I have somebody to talk to. I can just literally be like, hey, this is what's on my mind right now. What do you think? And to just have somebody to to bounce that stuff off of. I also get asked a lot too. People are like, oh man, like you're going to talk about getting chlamydia and everyone can hear. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. You know what I mean?
What's in the past?
It's in the past, but also like if people can learn, if I can share my story, and I have a lot of stories, but like if I can help other people, that's great. If, I can make you laugh on your lunch break because my butthole friend gave me chlamydia this one time and didn't tell me. Awesome. Because why else is all this shitty stuff happening to us?
Man, I hope that I just have been raking in the shitty dating stories because the universe knew we were going to have this. The universe knew I needed content. The universe gave me about 15 years worth of real good content for me to share.
Yeah.
Can't
well,
wait.
And see, here's the question. If everything continues to go well,
I don't think anyone's ever going to want to date me, to be honest. You're going to know all my dating history. I'm like, do I tell everything on the podcast? Of course I want to, because you guys are my friends and I appreciate that vulnerability. Here's the thing. Do I date someone? Here's the thing. Do I have them listen to the podcast? Listen to the podcast, right? Am I like, hey, listen to this. Yeah. Please listen to me almost getting strangled in a dead end, leaving Seattle.
Right.
With someone who's, dating has a girlfriend that's not anywhere near, just a very uncomfy situation. If I can teach you, if you can learn from my stupidity, please. Love that. I'm here for that.
Well, yeah. It's it's just interesting. And I like we were talking about it. I don't know if we thought we were gonna kind of get like a good
base layer.
Yeah, so quick. Oh, I mean, we were kind of thinking what, 6 months?
Yeah, we were thinking about 6 months. I was kind of, there's that one real sound that goes on right now that's like, man, if 30 people stop by my desk to tell me what a great job I was doing, I'd be so overwhelmed. And it's like, we have all these people that are friends and, listening and supporting. And, like I had one of my friends tell me they loved the sound of my voice.
Oh.
And that just like really filled my cup because.
Your moon cup.
Yes. It was just so lovely. It just made me really hit me in the emotions. It was just really cool to have, that's, I think, something else I wanted to talk about is like being able to give people compliments.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And really, truly, tell your friends you love them and just be present. And it's okay to like be emotional. As much as everyone hates to hear me talk about it, I love astrology. And as a Virgo, I am a stone cold bitch.
I'm a Leo. So, I mean, it's obviously all about me. And that's the only part of it that I identify with.
Yes. I've offered to do your birth chart a couple times and you're just so against it.
So here's the thing. If you listen to the episode 2 about the movie spoilers, it is the same deal, but with my life. I want to know some of the trailers and some of the little sparkle things that happen. I don't want to know things that are going to happen to me. I don't want to know the reason of a thing.
Astrology is not a pick your own adventure book. Astrology is basically saying
I can be slightly ignorant and not know.
But you could be slightly ignorant already.
Yeah, but I mean, that like Greg, is always talking about like, oh, we should get our palms read, and it's so fun.
That's a little much for me.
And I'm like, no,
because that's kind of when you cross over. Where I've had a couple friends that have been like, I go to a palm reader every month. I pay her $300 every month.
No, and I'll read your palm for $300 a month.
I will read a lot of things for $300. I will read.
Dang.
I don't even read anything for $300.
I mean, like, I think people get what they need out of these things. It's like going to the therapist.
Right.
A therapist is going to kind of give you back what you want.
Right.
And I don't want to shit on a palm reader because I believe that people can, they can have access to these things or whatever. For me, though, I just don't want to know too much. I want to know that the decisions I'm making are mine and not like a universal grand scheme, which it probably is. You know what I mean? Just for me. That's kind of how I am.
I'm such an astrology nerd. I'm just like, oh, you fucking traditional Leo. Of course you would fucking think that way. Dumb bitch. He doesn't even know. He doesn't even know his rising sign. Bitch don't even know his rising sign. He could be a fucking Cancer rising and we wouldn't even know.
Oh, no.
All of this would be very well explained if we could just fucking... I know his birth time. I just haven't done it. So doing your birth chart is you take your birth time, AM, PM. You take your... If you can't figure out, if you don't know your exact birth time, it's okay. You can just try and narrow it down, or if it's in the morning versus the night.
Right.
And you do, the day you were born, the time you were born, and where you were born.
Okay.
And that basically gives you a map of where the stars were born, where you took your first breath. And so that's kind of what astrology was based off of, where the stars were in the galaxy when you took your first breath.
Okay.
And as someone who, totally nerds out on all the space stuff,
right.
Anything I can get to make me not fucking feel like I am human from here, I'm here for.
Yeah.
Anything to make me feel like I'm not associated with these motherfuckers around me that make me feel like I'm not supposed to be here. Like when I learned that Virgos are heaven on earth and that people seek out Virgos in their life because they're an earth sign and they're grounding and they're heaven on earth. And Virgos remind people of home. So,
interesting. Okay.
If you want to go on that aspect, it's kind of like now that my more mature self knows, if someone comes over and they fall asleep in your presence, that's their inner child feeling comfortable with you.
Got it.
Or they're just fucking tired and not valuing your time. That's a story for another day.
That's a story for another day. Yeah. That's like a whole several episodes, I think.
We'll get there.
Yeah, I like the astrology stuff, the horoscope. I always like horoscopes and things like that. But I don't know, just for me.
You just have to, for me, honestly, and all my friends listening are going to laugh. Like I found out I was a Scorpio moon. I genuinely cried. I genuinely cried. I dated a Scorpio. I dated a Scorpio man who was very, very, very terrible to me.
Yeah. And
it gave me so much explanation. I loved that man so much. And it really just kind of, for me, crazy psychotic Alexa. I learned that, your moon sign deals with your emotions, right? So my emotions were very much in love with him because he got to be who my emotions wanted to be seen as all the time, right?
Yeah.
So for me, that was a very powerful moment.
Right.
Y'all can call bullshit. That's fine. I don't care. Y'all are laughing and talking at home. I know you're talking shit at home right now. All my fucking friends I work with are like, this bitch is talking about astrology again. Just, you can skip ahead. Hey, we're on Apple Podcasts now. If you need to hit that skip ahead button, that purple tile will do it for you.
No, I think it's all like really cool.
Nothing is better though than when I talk to someone and they're like, I don't believe in astrology, and I'm like, you're a Capricorn, and they're like, how did you know? And I'm like, astrology. Capricorns don't believe, very skeptical. So there are certain tells, and I think maybe more, you could assume astrology is like a party trick. Because, man, there are some times where I just hit it home really easy. Yeah. Especially if you have a job where you check people's ID. Girl, you a Taurus. Oh, you like expensive things and you bougie, but you get overwhelmed socially and you got to stay home. And I text you and I'm like, hey, how you doing? You're like, nah, girl, I'm already home. Taurus. Maybe we should do that. That'd be a fun episode. You could give me scenarios and I'll go, Gemini.
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah. Astrology, maybe I'll get there. Maybe I'll get there one day.
We just need to know your rising sign.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll do that on one of our episodes. Maybe I'll be vulnerable and let you do my birth chart to the entire planet.
I hope the whole planet listen to our podcast.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
please,
mean it's out there.
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe everyone's going to like love our podcast in like 50 years. Like we're not going to be anything. And then like, hi people in 2080.
People. Hi.
Hi in the future.
Aww.
You know what I'm excited for? Okay. The Nickelodeon time capsule.
The time capsule.
We have to wait, what, 20 more years?
Really?
Yes.
What'd they do, 2050?
Oh, no, 10 years?
2050 or 2030?
I don't remember. It's a fucking grip, though. I think we're only halfway there.
We got to Google this.
Google it now.
This is a Google moment.
I am so excited about this goddamn time capsule. And I only want to live until that gets opened.
Hey, we need this podcast to be successful. Okay, I really don't want to do this podcast by myself.
No, it's going to be like, I think it's 20 more years. It's insane. What they put in there? NSYNC CDs, like...
Buried April 30th, 1992. I was 2 years old. Nickelodeon time capsule, 30 years down, 20 to go. How old are you going to be in 20 years? In 20 years, I'm going to be 39.
Oh my God. Well,
if you're going by pandemic rules, technically, I'm still 29.
Here's the thing with these time capsules. Fuck you. Because okay, I like a time capsule because you'd be like, wow, everything was so different. But what do we get out of this? We watched the episode where they buried all this shit and everyone put all the moon man or whatever the things they put in little things in there. And now we're going to all be dead by the time. I don't give a fuck. It was like that.
I'm going to be alive in 30 years from now. Are you?
I hope I am.
Hopefully we're 30 years in on the podcast.
Hopefully 30 years in on the podcast. And it'll be like next week. But we're going to be like, next week we're going to.
I'm going to be 60 in 30 years from. Wait, 30, 20 down.
Oh, 20 more to go. No.
30 down. Yes. 20 more to go.
Yes.
Okay. So we need to make sure people know we can do math.
It's not bad. I'm going to be 60, but I'm going to be a cute 50.
Yes.
And
I will still be 32.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's all we have for today.
Of course, you would say that, you fucking Leo. I have plenty to say, but apparently we need to. But I guess I'm always going to have stuff to say because this is pdExes, and I have a very long laundry list.
Today, we talked about a lot of stuff, and thank you for getting through it with us. These are the conversations that need to be had.
Absolutely.
If you are feeling a type of way and you feel uncomfortable, reach out to several women in your life and just ask how they're feeling.
I've felt very empowered by my friends. And part of the reason why I wanted to speak about my circumstance in this episode was because I wanted to own my truth.
Right. Because
I've had a lot of friends that have come out on Instagram that have talked about, complications with pregnancy and, reasons why. And you don't even need to give me that reason, right?
Yeah.
Thank you for telling me that.
Right.
Thank you for putting that out there. Thank you for owning your truth. I want to own my truth and know that, it doesn't make or break you as a person.
Right.
Right?
Right.
But you taking that decision away from me is a make or break decision in my life.
Yeah. And it's the same with gay marriage. It's the same with all these things. I mean,
I just want you to be a happy person.
Well, I feel like half the country is wanting to move forward. And I feel like half the country is wanting to move backwards. Like half of the country, maybe, I don't know the numbers.
Well, yeah, half wants to go back.
They're just kind of okay with where everything's at. And you have another half the country that is looking forward to where we can be at. And I think that makes it really tough because I think we all need to get along. It's kind of tough. It's kind of tough when you have these decisions like gay marriage and gay rights and Black Lives Matter and all these things.
You're allowed to vote.
Right.
You can vote however you want to vote. Right. You just need to do it.
Yeah. Voting, very important.
Yes.
Don't think that it'll just be fine. Because if everybody just says somebody else will do it.
I mean, hey, if you want to look at it this last year, like Georgia was that swing state that was able to get votes that, put, gave us a different result.
Right.
And, I think that's just so important to be able to.
Your dollar has value. Your voice has value. If you haven't seen A Bug's Life, bitch, watch A Bug's Life.
You haven't seen A Bug's Life?
If you haven't seen A Bug's Life,
that's a great movie.
Watch this goddamn movie. But if everyone watched A Bug's Life, it just all makes sense.
Right.
Like, we all have the power to do whatever we want. Here's the other thing I was thinking about the other day. We talk about like minimum wage, and they're like, here you go, you little fuckers. You can have your $12 minimum wage. We're like, but we need more money. And they're like, fuck you. How are we going to make your thing? Like, everybody should be making enough money to just
live,
get
to exist.
by.
Yes.
We shouldn't have to be going to food banks and all this stuff.
Right.
And like, we are made to believe that this is normal.
Right.
Oh no, we possibly can't pay you more money. If we raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour, then oh my God, your hamburger is going to cost this and this. Who fucking cares? Everybody should have money. We shouldn't have to work and have side hustles.
It's not even about money. Everyone just should be able to everyone should be able to provide for themselves.
Right. Everyone should be able to work 32 hours a week.
Right.
Hella vacation. Time off, sick leave, parental leave when you have a baby, maternity leave, and whatever the maternity leave is for the dad. Paternity leave. We should have these things. You look at countries in Europe and they go like, oh, well, they're smaller and blah, blah, blah. Like, who fucking cares? Like, if you're in a country, in society now, we should have these basic rights.
Right.
5 weeks off a year vacation. If we all wanted it, we could have it.
Right.
We could all have 5 weeks off standard if everyone made a fucking ruckus about it.
If you're talking about movies and y'all haven't seen the Hunger Games.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that could be a reality. We all have the power to change things. We are told that we don't, and it's never going to happen. Or we can't, or this and this. And they sell these thoughts to people like, no, we possibly can't raise the minimum wage. You have to make $12 an hour. Otherwise, what about your hamburger? And it's like, people should be able to just get by.
I'm okay with paying an extra $1.
Yeah.
If that means whoever's making my cheeseburger doesn't have to go to another job when they're done with work at the end of the day.
Well, and here's the thing. We all talk about wanting to have, good food, responsible food, but when you raise the cost of a hamburger $2, outrage. Same with like recycling and all that. If I said, hey, this hamburger is going to cost $15, but we took care of the cow, the people that raised it got good money, they're doing well. Everybody who helped bring that cow to you and the cook got taken care of, the kitchen, the restaurant.
Yep. The line cook was able to go buy diapers for their kids because $20
hamburger, outrage. So we like the idea of change, but when it comes time to like putting our money where our mouth is, a lot of people kind of fall short. Me included. You know what I mean? Like, I'll go eat a shitty. Well, I'm vegetarian now, but I'll go eat a shitty McDonald's burger when I did because it was cheap. So yeah, watch A Bug's Life. It's great. And
make sure you vote.
Talk to women. Don't be scared of the vagina.
Make sure your friends are voting also.
Yeah.
I did get a. How would you break this in? We've mentioned him before. He's not a shy guest here on the podcast. We've mentioned him before. The hottest guy I've dated. Oh, yeah. And we kind of stopped talking, and he kind of fell off the map. And I mean, I got the receipts. I can pull it up if you want. But I literally verbatim text him, hey, you can ghost me if you want, but please make sure you vote. Oh, yeah. And that was voting day. That was voting day. Yeah. That was that Tuesday that you had to have your stuff in. I was like, hey, you can ghost me, but please make sure you get your ballot in. And he wrote me back and he's like, I actually did vote. Thank you. And I was like, oh, well, you can text me back. At least you're voting. So
okay.
Make sure your friends are accountable.
And you ghosted again.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us today.
Please write into the email.
Please write in. Yep.
pdExes podcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, anything you want to share, any resources you think are good, please let us know.
And the other thing I do want to say is podcasting is basically, a hobby, right? We're here, we're talking, like it's super fun. If you guys want to help support I know we kind of joke about this, but the easiest way to support us now that we're on Apple Music or on Apple Podcasts and Spotify is if you can give us a 5-star rating and, leave a review.
Right.
That's how podcasts work, by saving podcasts, by turning on the notifications. So you're getting the alert when our podcasts come out. If we decide to do it every week on Wednesdays, if you guys need more of us, let us know. And you want us to film more, we can do this.
We're like and subscribe people now.
I know.
God,
ew. And like in the first episode, we said y'all can do
God
whatever you
damn
want.
it.
But if you care about us.
Yeah, we don't need you to watch, but can you watch?
We don't need you to watch, but if you watch and support, it does really well.
Yeah, but again, I think that's, put your money where your mouth is. I think, we'll do this regardless, but I think people do say, hey, how can I support you? And I think it's good to let people know, like, hey, give us a good rating, leave a good comment if you want.
And that's what bumps us up. And, you want to, and then you start getting suggested.
Yeah.
And that's, that means a lot to us because this is something that we're doing because it's fun and we think we're really funny.
We are really funny.
So to get that validation back that, you guys are giggling at home and it's not just me at home giggling at myself on YouTube now.
I listen to our podcast so many times.
I know.
I listen to it at lunch. And
what
then
if no one's listened and it's just been us? We've listened 100 times between the two of us.
100 viewers and it's just us. No, I think it's great. And I'm just, again, really happy that people are enjoying it. So we'll keep it coming. And,
it's cool to give a shit.
It's cool to give a shit. Yep. All right.
All right. We'll see you next week.
Bye.